So welcome to tutorial video number 1, and I'm just showing you a little bit of the landscape before we start and what I'm going to be working from. I'm sat underneath an absolutely amazing oak tree here at the moment. I'll see if I can get the phone into the right place. Now I've done that, so that's us roughly where we should be. And I'll be working down here. So continuous line drawing. Great way to get marks down on the paper, and not really any time to kind of second guess what you're doing, because you have to keep the pen on the paper. And what tends to happen is when you start to take your pencil off the paper, your pen off the paper, a lot of the time your brain starts to do millions of little calculations and start to tell you where you're going wrong, and starts to tell you that you're doing the wrong thing, and you start to doubt yourself. This is good. It doesn't allow any time for that, and it's really good for observational skills. It really makes you see, because you have to essentially look at what you're drawing pretty much most of the time. The actual line going onto the page is secondary, really. Yeah, a great observational exercise, which is the whole key to drawing, really, is basically about observing. And it's also a really great way to switch off. It's a real mindful technique. Basically, as soon as you start, you really should be into a bit of a flow where your brain's kind of concentrating more on the drawing than it is, on maybe problems and issues that you've been having during the day. So we're going to use a pen. Hopefully you'll have got the pens in the art packs. You can use anything for this: a biro, a felt tip pen, a Sharpie, even a dark coloured crayon. And also the pen's good because it doesn't need sharpening, so you don't have to keep stopping. So I am going to start looking at an oak tree in the distance there. And the thing with continuous line drawing is you don't take the pen off the paper, and I'm actually not really looking at the drawing much at the moment. I'm just kind of looking off into the distance. And what is good to kind of get your head around is that you do have to go back over lines. You will have to keep going backwards and forwards. And I'm concentrating too much and not talking enough now. Really, what should be happening when you're doing this is that your eyes should be tracing round certain parts. Let me whiz round to here. So as you're looking down the trunk of that tree, that line should be coming out about the same speed. So you shouldn't really be firing stuff on at high speed, because the quicker you put the lines on the paper, that basically means that you're looking less. So you really want to be going at a nice gentle speed. And also, when I was kind of taught this exercise quite a few years ago, I was also taught to concentrate on my breathing as well. Yeah, it should feel like a nice gentle kind of, almost like a mindful exercise, really. Somebody joining in. It's going to feel a little scary at the beginning, so don't kind of worry about having a perfect drawing. Continuous line isn't about having a perfect drawing, it is fundamentally a drawing exercise. And you're going to have imperfections. You can have things that you don't like, things that you think are wrong, but generally that's only going to be you that thinks that you've done the wrong thing. Other people will look at the drawing and only see the results. So I suppose it's about getting around your hang-ups and not judging every single line that you put on the paper. You can take the pen off when you're having a break, by the way, but the essence of the drawing, you should be going all the way around with one line. Yeah, it will feel a little bit scary. We're not doing an accurate drawing, it is just an exercise, and just really focus on the speed of that line. So if you can remember what I showed you at the beginning in the landscape, this is just one oak tree that sits in the landscape here. So I'll try and maybe go on to some of the others. If I'm actually doing a drawing of anything, generally what I'll do is I'll do a continuous line drawing first, because it basically makes you absorb the landscape. What's typical to do with drawing, and I probably will repeat this quite a few times in the tutorials, is you draw what you see, sorry, you draw what you know and not what you see, and that's something that everybody does. I do it. You kind of slip into a drawing and you kind of get a bit carried away, and then you look back at what it is that you were supposed to be representing or copying, and it doesn't look at all like it, and that's because you've started to access kind of your memory banks of what you think things should look like. You know, if you've ever tried to draw an eye, you know, people will go in straight away and then start to draw the shape of what they think an eye looks like, but the eye's actually made up of a lot of different elements. A lot of triangles in there and ellipses and things like that. And now just going for a nice big oak tree in the background here. This is actually quite difficult to do when you're trying to give instructions as well, because you actually really do get a little bit lost in what you're doing. So I will check my notes. So yeah, the speed of the line, maybe match it to your nice slow breathing, match it to how your eye traces down the side of that tree. So I'm just going down the side of that tree now and trying to get all of those undulations. Start to build that up. We've got the corner of the field coming over there. A bit of a slope at the back there. So yeah, it's a simple way to observe and absolutely don't overanalyze what it is that you're doing. You know, it's just a drawing exercise. It's not something that's got to go in a frame. In a gallery. And I think it's nice, we've got these journals, it's nice just to fill them up with lots of these different continuous line drawings. You can do them as little thumbnails, as you can do them as whole pages. And I think the thing about the self-criticism thing is fine, everybody does it, but that shouldn't be your focus. Your focus should be more that, you know, you're actually making moves in the right direction. Every time you do a drawing like this, it's a move in the right direction. You're making steps to kind of improve your practice and develop your practice as well. So, trees, plants, clouds, any kind of flora and fauna that you can think of. It could be a plant in your garden. I'm getting carried away now. If you can go out on a walk and get some leaves, you know, And then just, I mean, something like a leaf is great for really focusing the speed that your eye goes around that shape. So the outcomes really, lots of continuous line drawings, big, small, overlap them. You know, you can always, if you like something that you've done, you can always grab a pen and add a little bit of colour, you know, just to kind of emphasise what you've done and parts that you like. But it's a great little exercise. And any questions on it, just give me a shout.